Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel Fitness for Newbies, the channel where we separate the sense from the nonsense so that you can start your fitness journey with confidence and stay healthy without injury. And in today's episode, we're diving into an age-old debate: strength training versus cardiovascular training. Which one should you focus on? We want to answer that question because it's something you're going to be faced with as a beginner, as a newbie, getting into the gym or starting your fitness journey, whether it's in or out. But as we mentioned before, whatever your focus is, it needs to incorporate those 5 key elements, which will include both fast cardiovascular training as well as strength training. So strength training, also known as resistance training, includes exercises like lifting weights as well as bodyweight exercises. The main goal is to build muscle, increase bone strength or bone density, and increase your body's metabolism, which allows you to burn more calories even when you're at rest. Now let's talk about cardiovascular training, or as we call it, cardio. Cardio is cardio. Yeah, everybody hates cardio. Oh, actually, there are some persons who don't like it. Not a big fan of it. You might not be either. But hey, what works for you works for you. We all have to have our preferences. That's pretty important as part of this process and part of this journey. But sometimes you gotta eat your vegetables. Actually, we gotta eat your vegetables more than sometimes. So even though it might not be something that you're crazy about, it's something that's still good for you, right? So think of it as vegetables for those who don't like cardio, like myself. Anyways, getting back into it. Cardiovascular training, or cardio as we call it, is a little different in that it includes activities like running, cycling, and swimming. The primary focus here is to improve heart and lung health, as well as to increase endurance and burn more calories. So, and it should be noted that cardio actually burns more calories per hour than weight training does. Doesn't matter what weight training you're doing. If you spend 1 hour of doing cardio, high intensity or mid-range intensity cardio, you're going to burn a lot more calories than you would doing 1 hour of weight training. Which is why it's an ideal means of losing weight, and it's why it's very often the go-to for many persons when they want to lose weight. The problem arises when you're just focused on one thing only, and this is a place where I see a lot of persons struggle. Especially, I see many persons start the gym, for instance, and some will be doing strictly cardiovascular training. They're going to be on the treadmills day after day. The treadmills, the elliptical machines, and the cycles, and they'll never come downstairs or come into the area where there are weights and do any resistance training. On the other hand, there's the other group, which probably makes up a larger percentage of the gym, which will be doing primarily just strength training or resistance training and never step into the area where there's cardiovascular training done. They might do a 5-minute warm-up and a 5-minute cool-down, but that's not sufficient to actually increase your lung capacity and strengthen your heart muscle. Which one should I focus on more? Well, let me answer that this way. You can choose cardio, you can choose weight training or resistance training, or you can choose both. Let's go with both. Now, as you become more specialized, you become more advanced, intermediate, whatever your goal is, if your goal changes at some point in time when you've achieved a higher level of fitness and you want to take up more bodybuilding or attain a more bodybuilding style of training, or you want to become somebody who wants to run a 5K or 10K race down the road, then you will shift the focus more on the style of training that's relevant for you. In that case of the first that we talked about with bodybuilding, you'll be doing more strength training and less cardiovascular training. It doesn't mean that you eliminate it totally, you'll just be doing less. Similarly, if you're preparing for a 5K run, 10K, or a marathon, then obviously you'll be doing more endurance style cardiovascular training as opposed to strength training. You still ought to be doing your strength training because you're still using muscle at the end of the day. And doing an excessive amount of cardiovascular training without any kind of strength training will lead to muscle loss. And you'll learn over time that muscle is the key tissue for longevity. So it doesn't matter what your sport is or your preference is, you still need to maintain your muscle mass, as much of it as you can. So in conclusion, answering the question on that age-old debate, cardiovascular training versus strength training, which is best? Instead of choosing one, choose both, because each of them have their own unique benefits, and all of the benefits combined are the benefits that we want, that allow us, especially yourself, the newbie, to reach the next level of health and fitness in your journey. So choose both instead of one. There's no saying that you can't have your cake and eat it. I'm saying have your cake and eat it. Take both of them rather than settling for just one. So we hope you enjoyed today's video. We hope it was helpful to you. If you think it was helpful to someone else, remember to share with someone else. Click on that like button and catch you in the next episode.